Tepchire and Fu, and he comes into this evening session with every chance of winning this group. But it's all to play for, and we look forward to seeing who's going to come through. One man already safely through to Winners' Week is Gary Wilson, who won one of the groups last night, and he's here to enjoy it with me.
Yeah, hello everyone, pleasure to be back. As you say, Dave, it's a big game for Jimmy, this one, because he's in a strong position now. He knows if he can get a win in this game, it puts him in a really strong position going into the last one. So he'd be wanting to get off to a good start here. And if he can beat Marco, as I say, he's got a great chance of getting through this group.
1.
Well, they played 5 times before. Fu has won 4 of them, but they haven't actually met for 7 years. One of those meetings was at the Crucible 2015, but of course Jimmy Robertson since then has really come on, and he had a very good season last year, as we were saying earlier. Whereas Marco Fu's been away from the pro scene.
Well, it's similar to his first game. He's straight in with a decent chance, Jimmy.
7.
So good opportunity to put a good few points on the board here. Put the pressure on straight away. A couple of reds in the open here. He's got one next to the black, and there's a red there just above the black, which you can use to open the reds. Choosing just to play a little bit low on it, I feel, but maybe just brush off the side of the
14.
reds and knock 1 or 2 more into play. May just drop it in and
15.
leave himself the angle a little bit later on.
Yeah, he starts the season 25th on the official rankings.
22.
But on the one-year list, so obviously it's a 2-year system, on the one-year list he's 14th. So this shows you what a good
23.
year he had, and he can have another one. Could well end up in the top 16.
Yeah, without pulling up too many trees last year, Jimmy, he had a very consistent season. As I say, didn't do too much as in getting to the too many latter stages. He had a semi-final, but
30.
it was more that he was winning a few games and a lot of events, and that can really help you progress right up the rankings, having a really consistent season without really anyone noticing too much, to be honest.
31.
Actually started here, he got to the second phase of this event. So he's in a good mood therefore going into the British Open, which was the next event. He got to the semis there.
Played the cannon quite well. I would have preferred him to play that with a little bit more stun rather than a bit of
38.
screw on the white there. Let the white sort of come off the side of the bunch a bit towards the side cushion. The only problem when you get a bit too much screw on the ball like that is, as you see there, the white sticks, and unless you've got like a shot into the middle pocket, you're not really going to be on a red. So he has come a little bit unlucky. Still got a chance of one into the green pocket, but with the reds where they are now, it's risky. It's not an easy shot. So he's looking just to protect what he's got so far and play safe.
Yeah, he'll be very mindful playing Fu,
Jimmy Robertson, 38.
who of course has got so much experience, won 3 ranking titles, cannot afford to give him chances. He got away with a few in his first match against Ian Martin, who obviously not got as much experience as Fu.
Catching the red a little bit thick there, double kiss. It's left Jimmy another half chance with a red into the left corner. Just coming round to see the angle, if he can get between the 2 reds above the black and the red that's to the right of the black, just to come round off 2 cushions for it into the left corner. That's what he's looking for. It's close, he's hit it quite well, but just not quite in the pocket.
No, it's a chance to get back in and build on the lead he already had in the frame. You can see he was annoyed. Now then, can Marco Fu get something going here? Good to see him back He did play in the World Qualifying, but other than that, basically been 2 years during the pandemic where he's been back in Hong Kong.
Yeah, and I'm sure if Marco is intending on playing on most of the tournaments this season, we'll only start seeing him getting stronger and stronger as it goes on. Obviously, world-class player.
Six.
Quite sure if he's on one here.
Well, he's always been the same in his career. He never gives anything away, but that little look there actually just tells you maybe it's gone wrong, because he's not the most expressive, but just a little sign of annoyance. Yeah, and then he knocks it in.
7.
Yeah, it did just squeeze just above the black there, but yeah, he did look a bit disappointed. I think he's caught the blue a little bit thin when he potted it and just landed a touch out of position, but he's recovered it well. Nice angle on the blue.
One of the game's great gentleman, Marco Fu, but also a terrific player. He's been as high as 5 in the world. Obviously, he's kind of starting again, though. He's got a wild card from World Snooker. So he's having to start sort of from the bottom
12.
again.
Taking the opportunity to get through past the pink for this red, so he can probably knock the red away from the middle pocket. That's perfect.
13.
Just gives him another red to play at once he's potted the blue.
Always looked after himself as well. He's, you know, he's 44 years of age now,
18.
but had a healthy lifestyle. I remember he won the Scottish Open in Glasgow, beat John Higgins in the final. John's family were there, and they're a very friendly lot. They invited
19.
Marco back to the house for a bit of a knees up because it was just before Christmas, but he declined. He's not a drinker. Might have become one that night.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have turned that down, Dave.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the invitation
24.
still stands, but you're right. Most players wouldn't have done. Anyway, got himself in here.
25.
Robertson may have just missed a trick in this first frame because he did have that second chance.
Yeah, just the one red on the right-hand side there that Marco will already have in mind that he'll be wanting to do something with. Clear these 4 reds if he can first, and then think about getting an angle on a colour to move that last red.
31. 32. $38. 39.
Nice delicate little shot with a little bit of left-hand side there just to avoid that red. You may even decide if he gets far enough here to just drop in behind that red on the side. If he leaves a nice little angle on the pink, for instance, just drop behind it. And as we've said before earlier on today, the pockets aren't playing too tight, so you might fancy that. He's got to keep better control of the white and make sure he gets that far first.
46.
Just played a little cannon onto the pink there and almost went wrong. Yeah, and because he's slightly run out of position,
47.
he's run out of position even more there, and he's awkward now where he can still pop the pink, but not really much idea about where the white's going to be ending up, so could just be playing safe. Right, he's just knocked the blue in as if it's over the pocket, so Again, one of them instances where he's played a bad shot and it could turn into a good shot. He's potted a good blue there and landed on this red. So one good pot here and the frame
52.
could be Marco's.
$53.
Yeah, great blue, wasn't it? Committed himself.
$60. $61.
So a glance at the scoreboard tells him that if he pots the black, he's 30 in front with 27 on. Jimmy Robertson had a couple of chances. He was in on 38.
68.
He had another chance after that, missed the initial red. Who's
70.
always been regarded, quite rightly, as a great break builder. He's made over 500 centuries in his career, 4 maximums, including one at the Masters.
73.
And he doesn't hang about, Marco, when he gets in a flow. He can play quite quickly,
77.
which might surprise a few people. But he's very capable of playing at speed.
82.
Well, in the end, what an excellent break. Big session of snooker. 3 players in the hunt for
88.
victory in this group. These two and Tepchara Nu. Who's it going to be? Marco Fu has hit the ground running
95
in
the
this
frame.
session. He's
Marco
cleared
Fu.
up with 95 to lead Jimmy Robertson 1-0.
The Kazoo champion of champions.
He looked like he had it won. He looked like he'd lost it.
You can't say that's the killer blow. Well, you can say it was a hammer blow.
Two devastating breaks. He's on the brink.
101 for O'Sullivan. He's got a frame on the board. He looked mighty good in doing it.
What a way to open your account for the season. I get the feeling it will not be his last trophy this campaign.
So it's 1-0 to Marco Fu, a 95 clearance from Hong Kong's leading light, and he leads Jimmy Robertson
second
here.
frame,
Just to remind you,
Marco Fu to break.
Robertson won his first match 3-0. Fu drew his first match 2-2 with Tepchara Nu, then won his next one. So Tepchara's on 4 points, Robertson 3, Fu 1 at the moment. Of course, Tepchara's played a match more than the other two main rivals in this group. Ian Martin, of course, the other player. And Fu stays on to play Ian Martin after this match.
Luke.
Yeah, he was sort of
One.
on his way back to his seat, wasn't he? But in it went.
It was a bit of a funny red he's taken on there, Jimmy. From the angle, it looked like if he was going to pop the red, he was definitely canning into the black. He's obviously caught it thin. Maybe just playing safe, but he's caught it ultra thin and obviously canning the red, so he'll be very pleased with that. He's plumb in now as well, so good chance again early on. Marco's happy about that, you can see.
8. Nine.
Well, I mean, luck does play its part in snooker, but in a short match, it can be very significant, actually. Would have got him in for a frame-winning break here.
$16. 17.
Yeah, the way the pack is there off this shot, he wouldn't be thinking about going into the reds. It's too flat, it's not a nice angle. So just be picking off 1 or 2 more and trying to find a better opportunity to open the rest of them.
24.
Playing for the blue now and then possibly the red to the right of the pink.
25.
Because he's come, I'm not saying too
30.
far, but a little bit further to get on the black. He'll go up for the blue again now, and really he's going to have to start thinking about going into
31.
the reds from here. A little bit short. So unless he plays for quite a small gap for a red, he's probably going to think about coming round off 2 cushions and into the back of the reds. Because the gap that he would have to find for that red above the black into the left corner is quite small, so it's not really the shot to play. Yeah, so this is it, round off 2 cushions into the reds. Quite catch them as he would have wanted. Don't think he's on one.
36.
How quickly they forget, though, because of course it started with a fluke. Now he's really annoyed he's not on something.
Yeah, as soon as you're in, you just forget about all that.
Yeah, the point about luck is obviously if it comes along, you've got to try and make the most of it, because plenty will go against you. Mitchell Mann's won the first frame against Stephen Maguire on table 2. That's a very tight group, as we saw at the start. PJRW on 4 points, the other 3 players all on 1 as it stands. Draws have kind of cancelled out a couple of players there, but there's still a chance for it to turn around again this evening.
He's a bit concerned, Jimmy, here with taking the white up to the baulk end because of that red on the right-hand side. So he's played it, but it's a bit of a risk, especially if he cannons the brown here.
Jimmy
No.
Robertson, 36.
He's got a good cue ball, so although he has left a shot at that red on the right-hand side, because he's got a good cue ball, it's not a nice one. It's not very inviting for Marco. He's still going to have a go at it. Yeah, but it's a very hard shot, especially the way he's played it there. Be happy with that, though.
Yeah, Fu has been playing in Hong Kong, but obviously getting used to the realities of the pro circuit again. So he's very happy to be back. And of course, coming up, he's got an event in his home country, the Hong Kong Masters. An invitation event will be on in October. The venue they're playing, it's actually got a 10,000 capacity. So, not saying it's going to be full, but chance for a really big crowd. First really big international sporting event that's been held there since all the trouble began with COVID, so hopefully that'll be the start of going back to Asia more regularly.
Yeah, I think it was 5 years, wasn't it? Roughly the last one. I think at the time it was for the top 8 players. This is it's for 8 players again, but I think Marco and Onyi are playing in it this time. Be a great event to be a part of that.
Yeah, it'll be great for Marco, I'm sure, to welcome everyone as well. Meanwhile, is already a big match, and of course I'm sure Tepjara Nu is keeping an eye on it as well. He's going to play Jimmy Robertson in the last match, wants to go into that obviously still with a chance to win this group.
Just got to be careful here, Jimmy. The reds are nice, the colours are all in the open. Doesn't want to be giving Marco a chance from here. Those things could turn quite quickly, but played a decent safety shot there, trying to get in behind the brown. And push the black safe as well, which Jimmy will be happy with a 36-point lead. Never easy them, hitting them at such pace. Put a little bit of side on and you can push the cue ball offline slightly. So left another half chance for Jimmy. Same sort of thing. Quite cue it well. And this is now a much better chance for Marco if he can pop this red in the middle. There's just the black safe, but he's got the blue and the pink there. So if he pots this red, he's got quite a good chance to get right back into this frame.
One.
Not really too much pressure on that blue because the red was there, so it kind of made it a bit of a big pocket as well.
6.
But went in clean as a whistle, so still not ideal. Just got to find a nice little positional shot here to get himself absolutely perfect on the colour. Nice little cannon.
7.
And now he'll be disappointed if he doesn't get right back into the frame.
It looks like prime scoring territory for Fu. Yeah, I was talking about this new event. He's a big name over in Hong Kong. Obviously, he's had a long career in snooker, former world amateur champion, been a mainstay of the tour for many years, and in recognition of that, he's actually in Hong Kong a justice of the peace.
13.
So you can sort of inspect prisons and all that sort of stuff. So you don't want to get on the wrong side of Marco.
Yeah, I can imagine he's got a nasty side to him somewhere. We don't see it, but
14.
I'm sure he can get very angry.
Well, you don't want to get you locked up. That's the thing. Anyway, might have this frame locked up shortly because the reds are sitting nicely.
$19.
He also had a chat show on Hong Kong television,
20.
Marco Fu and Friends. Where he interviewed celebrities, played snooker with them.
Did you lose any?
I've never seen it, but I've heard of it. It shows, though, you know, we think of
26.
obviously people like Ronnie O'Sullivan, the big names wherever they play, but Marco Fu, so important for snooker in his own country. We've seen that with James
27.
Watanabe, of course, Deng in China. They're ambassadors not just for the sport, but for their home countries as well, and they can help to grow the sport in these areas, which is why it's so good to have him back on tour.
Yeah, as mentioned before, great ambassador for the game.
33.
Lovely guy, and yeah, pleasure to see him back. And as I say, hopefully he can push on this season and get himself back towards where we know he belongs. I've decided to just take that one and go up for the blue, possibly rather than the one on the pink spot, because he's quite happy with the pink just being on the black spot at the moment. Makes break building quite easy. Once he gets rid of this one, the pink will go back on the pink spot.
39.
There's nothing really stopping him going on to win the frame.
40.
You won't need the black.
$46. 47.
Possibly, if he's got a bit of an angle, take the opportunity to get the red that's near the black. More difficult of the two, so yeah, maybe not just yet. A little bit more angle, I think he would have done that, but
53.
just would like to get that one out of the way. It's not difficult, as I say, but it's just a little bit more difficult in this one. Needs to make sure he gets a nice angle just to get on that red nicely.
54.
Yeah, he's got a little bit better of an angle this time, so should just be dropping in behind this to make it as easy as possible.
Just wriggled a little, that pink, but it went in, so it's 24 ahead. Couple of balls
60.
from 2-0 lead.
And he's looked better this
61.
game. Maybe just a bit more practice again and getting that first match out the way as well. He's looked straight away a little bit more like the old Marco, so good signs.
Pink is effectively frame ball. Yeah, he has looked good, and like you said, he's not hung around. 17 seconds a shot for the match.
67.
So there's a chance, obviously, now to take the 3 points. The best Robertson here can do is a single point.
69.
And if that were to happen, if Marco Fu were to win the match, obviously he'd go to 4. Robertson would stay on 3. Tech Chai would also be on 4. So it really is wide open, this group.
72.
Yeah, crucial couple of frames coming up.
76.
Well, we've missed Marco Fu the last couple of years, and this is why he's capable of such brilliant snooker. Heavy scoring has always
81.
been a key part of his game. He's opened with a 95. And another big break here to win this frame.
87.
Yeah,
94
94
in the
to
frame.
follow the
Not bad.
95. Marco Fu looking very, very good here in this evening session. Guaranteed a point. He leads Jimmy Robertson 2-0. The return of Marco Fu. He might not look too happy there, but he should be. He's had breaks in 95 and 94, 2 clearances. And he leads Jimmy Robertson 2-0 in this very tight
Jimmy
Group 22 of the Bet Victor Championship League. Jimmy Robertson started really well. He beat Ian Martin 3-0. Since then, Tepchar and News had a draw with Fu and a win. So Tepchar's on 4 points. Robertson's on 3, Fu on 1. But obviously, if Marco were to win this next frame, then he would actually, well, he'd go top actually, because he would not have... he would have won 3-0 and New won 3-1. All very clear. Basically, what I'm saying is it's still up for grabs. There's 3 players here, Robertson, New and Fu, who all can still win the group.
Yeah, and it can be difficult sometimes in this situation as the players, because you kind of know that it's a bit complicated, and Marco and Jimmy perhaps were sitting there thinking, what do we have to do here? What's the permutations of this, that? Sometimes you've just got to forget all that and just get on with the game in hand. Bit of an easy chance missed there straight away from Marco.
We saw it last night. Mark Williams wasn't absolutely sure. He thought he might have to win his last match with Lee Hang. He only needed a draw, and he got to 2-1. And Lee Hang, he did know the score because his break-off shot, well, it was, I called it the motorway shot. He was already on his way home. He just wasn't, frame was dead as far as he was concerned. But Mark Williams made 140 anyway, just to make sure. Of course, Fu will play the penultimate match against Ian Martin, so then may have to rely on something to happen in the last one. Main thing is put yourself in that position. If you can win this one, if you can win that one, he's on 7 points. He's looking very, very good.
Just caught it a bit thick there, jumped up straight away, but he's managed to get past the blue, so it's not too bad. He's left a half chance for Marco with the red next to the blue, but not an easy shot.
Table 2, Stephen Maguire at the table. He lost the first frame to Mitchell Mann, and he's trailing in this one, but he's got a chance there to maybe turn it round. He drew with Si Jia Hui, the man drew with Matthew Stevens.
Well, Jimmy Robertson full.
Marco thinks he's playing billiards all of a sudden.
Well, he was further away from that red than me from Newcastle, to be honest. I don't know what happened there. I think he needs to go back for the eye surgery, because that was a long, long way away. He'll be a bit confused at that one.
Yeah, he looked it, didn't he?
Cueing shot here. Concentrate on keeping still, timing it well. And he's done exactly that. It's a very good shot. Played it with a bit of safety in mind, knowing that the yellow's there as well, though. So he's set himself up with another good chance. Timed it very nicely, struck it well and kept still. All fundamentals to a good cue action at this game.
Three.
He'll be very happy with the way that's cannoned into the reds, and left himself lovely on the one red that was blocking the black to one corner. So red's open, black in play.
Four.
Very good chance.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll feel he has to take it, because he's seen how well Marco Fu's played so far, and Fu may only need one more opening to kill the match off. So Jimmy Robertson's got to focus. He nearly missed that. He nearly missed that, but went in.
11.
Wiped its feet, as they say.
12.
Yeah, just needs to keep his concentration. I wouldn't say slow down so much. Obviously, he's quite a rhythmic player, Jimmy, and he wouldn't want to slow down, but just make sure of every pot, because it's important, this. And the longer he's at the table, potting easy balls, the longer Marco's sat in his chair as well, so it can put him off a little bit. By just taking your time and making sure of everything as best you can. It's a fine balance in snooker. Sometimes you can try too hard, though, take a little bit too long and put yourself out of rhythm. So
19.
it's just one of them situations where he knows he needs to make the most of this. And it's easier said than done.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Tatiana got the spider out, but he decided he didn't need it after all.
20.
Yeah, she hasn't done much, so he just thought he'd give her a bit to do there. Very good referee, Tatiana. One of the best, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, you talk about concentration, but obviously the referees absolutely have to focus on everything, and these matches can be lengthy. Dave Ford was here last week refereeing. He refereed Fergal and Dave Gilbert at 2-hour frame. World
27.
qualifiers nearly finished him off.
I was going to say, he's still reffing. Hard to see from there, but the pink must obviously just go past this red into the middle. If he's got a slight angle on it as well, he might stun and move the red off the pink spot, just to open it up and let the pink go back on its spot cleanly, so it goes into a couple of pockets. Just depends on the angle. Yeah, he was a little too straight for that, so the way the pink spot is there, it looks as if the pink's going to go to a sort of slight angle underneath the red, so it may still be available to the bottom right corner. But of course he's got the black to play with. He'll be concentrating on that if he can.
34.
You always like as many colours
35.
in the open as you can, though, in these situations, to make things as easy as possible. Having the pink and black is ideal when you've got reds around them.
So far, so good. To press on here. Who waiting to pounce there in the background.
$43.
Worth saying as well, at the end of all of this, whoever wins this competition will be in the Champion of Champions, which is a huge event in October, November. Dalton, big money tournament.
Yeah, a big incentive, like there is
50.
anyway, a big incentive for all the players at any event, but you know, especially this one as it's on this week and next stages in towards the end of July. It's an event where, as you say, you can get into a big tournament like that, so some players may see it as, you know, not so big an event and may not want to play, but at the end of the day there's a Champion of Champions place at stake, so it's good that the tour's got these events where you can get into.
Yeah, and also 33,000 ranking points, a massive step towards the World Grand Prix. And if you can get in that, then you've got an advantage in terms of getting in the Players' Championship. Jimmy Robertson got to the semis of that last year. So all these things start to spiral if you're doing well.
59.
It also counts towards the Bet Victor series. 8 events, and the winner gets 150,000 bonus. Finishing top of the order of merit at the end of the season. That went down to Gibraltar last season. It was extraordinary drama, actually. John Higgins eventually came away with the money. Anyway, right now, Jimmy Robertson needs this red, and we're going into
64.
one last frame. He attempts to salvage a draw.
65.
Yeah, he's taken them well. They were there to an extent, but you've still got to hold yourself together, as I say, and make sure of every ball. And he's taken them lovely in this break.
Been high quality stuff. Fu's had breaks in 95 and
70.
94. Jimmy Robertson with a big visit of his own. And a big frame
71.
coming up for Marco Fu, because a second draw you feel is not going to be enough for him. Going to need to win this match, surely.
$77. 78. $85.
So no reason why he can't go on to make a century. It would be nice to get a big break as well. I know the high break may not necessarily come into it in this group, but
86.
it's always nice to make a big break just in case.
Yeah, well, Tipchara News at 118. It's the highest in the group so far.
$93.
Just come a little bit further there than he wanted to. Didn't want to screw back as far as that. Just wanted to drop the pink in and drop in behind that last red, but may have to do it off the blue now, unless he can follow it in from the pink and maybe try and move the red.
Either way, pink for century. Focused really hard on this contribution.
Yeah, good shot. He had enough angle there just to go past the red still.
101.
Again, the pocket's not looking too tight there. Hit the near jaw, but still wriggled in. Been a good break, this.
Needed to make it, didn't he? And he stepped up.
106.
So, as I say, big last frame coming up.
108.
And as I said before, it's not a big thing,
111.
but Marco's been sitting in his chair now for 5 to 10 minutes, plus another few minutes of the balls getting set up for the next frame as well. And you know, it can affect you slightly that if you get half a chance in the next frame, he's not really been warmed up as much as he was before. So he'd be hoping for a chance. Jimmy's in stroke.
Well, it's day 10
120.
total of this year's Championship League, and this is the 34th century, so been a very high standard. This group always looked like it would be a high standard. Jimmy Robertson
126.
stepping up here with one frame to go. It's been a terrific break. Excellent. 133
in the frame.
from Jimmy Robertson. So we have one more frame to decide whether it's a draw or whether it's Marco Fu who takes the 3 points. This match has been very high standard in terms of break building. Fu 95, 94. Jimmy Robertson a clearance of 133. So it's 2-1 to Fu. This is the last frame. If Marco Fu can win it, then he will move up to 4 points. Jimmy Robertson will remain on 3. But of course, if Robertson wins it, he moves up to 4 points. And Fu will be on 2. So it's a big swing on this frame alone.
Yeah, and we know that, but they probably don't. So, as I say, they've just got to focus on winning the frame and coming off and seeing where they stand afterwards. But yeah, big frame. Tough shot that, caught that nice.
Dean Maguire's levelled with Mitchell Mann on table 2. That's 1 each. Would have been 2 draws there. Another one doesn't really do either of them any favours. Si Jiahui's already won a match. And he was the bottom seed in that group, but at the moment he's looking good. He plays Mitchell Mann next up.
Yeah, he may be bottom seed, but a very talented player. So wouldn't be a bit surprised if he was doing well in that group. Another excellent safety.
Yeah, that was such a thin edgy court, wasn't it?
A little bit of trouble here for Jimmy. Can't really dump onto the black cushion. There's reds there, and can't really find a path back to balk, I don't think. So he may be forced into having a go at something here. If that red to the right hand side is dead straight, he can't even top that in and force it up. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one, this. Bit surprised. I'm not too sure what he's played, because unless he was intending the white to be further up the right hand side cushion, maybe so the black blocked this red, he was always going to leave this.
One.
This is the kind of chance Marco wanted after the last frame. Few reds in the open. Build up a good lead, at least, hopefully.
Marco full 1.
And that's exactly what he didn't want.
Well, that was a big surprise, really. Maybe, though, well, not saying it's pressure he missed it for, but just emphasising how important this frame is. He's focusing so hard on what was to come that he just took his eye off the pot.
1.
Yeah, sometimes you can get a little bit ahead of yourself and realise it's a good opportunity, and you're not even really thinking of potting the yellow. You're just thinking, I'm on the next red, try and make a few points, build up a lead. Before you know it, you've missed the ball you're playing. So this chance now goes to Jimmy, and he'll be delighted if he gets out of this.
6.
Wins the frame.
7.
Well, there's a scenario where the three of them, Tepchai being the other one, could all end up on 5 points. I'm not going to go into it now, but that could happen. Frame difference will come into it, possibly high breaks. So that break we've just seen, the 1-3-3, could be really important.
Nice little cannon there as well, just to bring a few more into play. Always had this red to the left corner.
14.
And that's what it's about sometimes, just nudging a few reds here and there. You don't have to split into the pack and screw the white round all over the table sometimes to get the balls into play the way you need them. It's
15.
just a couple of subtle little cannons can do it all for you. Again, maybe just a subtle cannon on one of the two reds in a line there to the right of the pink. And it just opens them 3 or 4 reds around there. Perfect.
22.
There's at least 5 or 6 open reds now he's got to play with. Can build up a good lead before he even really thinks about the 4 reds below the pink. A little awkward on the red, so he's not pushed through far enough for the blue. A little bit the wrong side. The best of angles on the pink, if he chose to play that to get on the next red, so it's not straightforward. Can still pot the pink, of course, but needs to make sure he comes back far enough to be on one of these reds. Just should be all right once the pink's spotted.
29. 30.
That missed yellow has the potential to be one of the most significant shots in this group all day, because it could have led to Fu winning the match. As it is, out of his hands now. Obviously got another match coming up
35.
shortly against Ian Martin, but even if he wins that, he may still miss out. It depends on other results, and that's the worst position to be in, having to rely on certain scores to go your way that you can't affect yourself.
$36.
Yeah, so with the angle he's got here, the shots to play, just to run the white through, leave himself a choice of 2 reds, right where he's queuing there, 3 reds even if that red goes past that one near the side cushion, and 1 into the left middle as well. Always leave yourself a choice. It's pretty much perfect.
43. 44.
'A little short on that one.
51.
But it's a 50-point lead, so may just take the opportunity just to flick this other red out now when potting this red and leave himself still on the black. Played it with side, so he's come right across.
52.
Again, doesn't need to think about these reds unless there's a plant on. Doesn't need to think about them reds below the pink. Be ideal if there was a plant, but it's 51 ahead, black's 58. We would just need the red on the side cushion, the red under the black, to really make sure of the frame. Chose to go into them, which I'm not sure was a correct shot, but he's trusted to look a little bit there.
59.
And any time you trust a luck, it can go wrong. Still got a shot on this red, but it's not easy into the right middle. It's a good recovery.
60.
Yeah, good recovery, full stop, from 2-0 down to 2 big breaks from Fu. Jimmy Robertson has stepped in. He needs another red after this black. Big result. 2-0 down the way Fu was playing to get a draw. It gives Jimmy Robertson every chance now
67.
going into his last match with Tepchar and Nu. Fu, 2 draws. Even if he wins his last
68.
match, he feels not going to be enough.
Yeah, he'd be a bit disappointed, Marco. Another good break again, though, from Jimmy after Marco's missed yellow.
Well,
Jimmy Robertson.
not quite
68.
there. 67 in it, 59 on. Good 68 from Jimmy Robertson. He's on the brink of 2-2.
One.
Oh, yeah, that's disastrous. Try and play the black off the pink, I think.
Well,
Could be that.
Marker full.
yeah.
1.
there is the
Frame
handshake.
conceded,
So
frame.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Robertson did
Robertson.
very well there after Marco Fu hit the ground running, breaks a 95 and 94. Robertson 1-3-3, and when Fu missed the yellow,